Hello and welcome to Roberts Tech. Today we have, I think it's our fifth installment of the build on this chassis. And last time we had it sort of running test programs, and now I actually have it running an actual uh, program on my Mega board and a program on the Uno board that allow the robot to run through a room and not hit any walls most of the time. It works pretty well, and you'll see that in a minute here. For now, I just want to describe what I've done since the last time you saw. The main thing I did is when it came time to write the code, I realized I had to remember all the wiring, all the ports that I've connected, and so I do that by creating a list like this. And so I have all of my pins on my Mega board here, and the Mega has a lot of pins, so there's another page. So these are all the pins on the Mega board, and then as I connect the wires, then I write in where that wire goes. So then when I write the code, I can refer to this list, and I know how to write the code to match all the connections that I've made. So there's all the connections for the Mega. Here's connections for the in this case, I'm actually using a Leonardo, an Arduino Leonardo board there for my second board. So here's all the pin connections for the Leonardo. Then I also have channel addresses for the servo driver. These are the different servos and which channel they're plugged into on the servo driver board. That's this one right here. Then I also have a list of the code names that I'm using, so when I go into my files, I know which code's been loaded into the robot. And then here we have a list of the I2C addresses. So each thing has a different address. So in this case, I have, let's see, do I have four things? Three things on the I2C bus at the moment. So the Mega is the master on the I2C bus. Then we have the Leonardo, and we have the PCA 9685 servo driver, and then we also have the LiDAR sensor. So those are all on the I2C bus, so they all have their own address. And as I've mentioned before, this little plug-in board here is the I2C bus, so as I add things, I just plug more in. Now I've been saying that I'm going to have the Mega board communicate the signals to the Arduino, the Arduino Leonardo. So when the sensors come into the Mega board, they tell the robot how close he is to different obstacles, and then the robot issues a command over to the Arduino Leonardo to drive the motors, forward, backward, spin. So I have a different command that goes over for each direction that I want the robot to go. So originally I was talking about using a serial port to do that. I thought I was going to use the UART, but on the Leonardo board as well as on the Uno board, the serial port's used for the loading the program, so that can cause conflicts. So that ended up being a bad idea. So I went ahead and put it on the I2C bus, which worked out really well. So again, it just plugs right in here to my little I2C board here that I have, where I have multiple plugs. And so now the Arduino Leonardo is just another address on my I2C bus. And I was surprised how well it works. It sends a command over, no problem. Everything happens very quickly. So that worked out really well. The other thing I started a little binder so I can keep track of everything. So I just have tabs for different things. It's not filled out completely yet, but I have a written specification, any kind of drawings that I do. So as I come up with, here's the data sheet for the LiDAR sensor, so that I know how all that works. And so whenever I print something like that, then this is a place to put that. So that really helps me while designing this project to keep track of everything, and really handy when you're trying to write the code and trying to make everything work. That's where we're at with it now. It's actually at the point where it's communicating as well as responding to all the sensors. And so if I turn it on now, you'll actually see the wheels move based on what it's seeing in the LiDAR and the ultrasonic sensors. So it will actually stop from going backwards if I put my hand here. It's kind of hard in this area, and the bench here is so small that it's going to be picking up pretty close objects sitting here. So it's not really going to make its movements like you might see it on the floor. So we'll get to that. So the last thing I want to show you is the actual code is running on the computer here. I've got both of these plugged in at the same time. That's no problem. I've got two windows open, one for the Leonardo and one for the Mega. And we'll get a look at that, and then we'll get this thing on the floor and you'll see how it works. So on the left I have my screen for the Mega, and on the right is the screen for the Leonardo. And these are the commands that are going over to from the Mega to the Leonardo. And I realize you can't really see these and read these going by, but basically what I'm doing is I'm just sending a value 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Each one means something different. I'm sending that number over here, and when the Leonardo gets that, it knows that a 1 is forward, a 2 is turn, and so on. I think 5 is back up, and that's really, it's very basic, but it's very fast and works really well. Just sending a single digit over there and then having some code over here that says, oh, I got a number 5, so that means back up. So that's all it's doing. The other things that you see flying by here are just indicators to me that it is going through the main loop. Some values that are coming back for reading the speed of the wheels, which I'm not really using yet. So it's just information that lets me know that things are actually happening. So now we'll put it on the ground. We'll see how well it does. So the robot's going to be maneuvering around the room, and the goal at this point is just hopefully it just won't run into anything. And then once I'm sure it won't run into anything, then the next step is going to be to add, I'm going to add an AI camera to it to see if we can make it do something semi-intelligent. But at this point I'm just going to be happy if it just doesn't hit anything. So actually it's doing very well. I used to have problems with it running into the sofa because the sofa's soft and the ultrasonic sensors, you wouldn't get a good bounce off the sofa, but the LiDAR has no trouble seeing the sofa, so that worked really well. So in this little space it's doing real well, not running into anything. So that's it for this video. We've made a lot of progress. It got to the point where we can run around the room pretty well. It does run into the wall sometimes, but for the most part it avoids obstacles and can get through the room without running into too many things. So now we're at the point where I'm going to add probably an AI camera up here. I may have to move things around to accommodate that. But good progress. So hope you enjoyed watching this thing come together, and we will see you on the next video.